All right, so for those of you who are joining me from the west coast of Florida, this is the listing presentation that I use is a listing presentation that I learned from Gary Ubaldini in Palm Harbor, Florida, and it's also a listing presentation that is used by Jimmy and Linda McKissick. So giving credit where credit is due, right? I started my real estate career as a listing specialist for the Gary and Nikki team back in 2002. And went on to become the lead listing specialist for the Gary and Nikki team for the next 4 years and listed an average of 12 to 15 homes every month over that 4-year period. Went on to build my own real estate team from there, and my wife and I built a team where we were listing and selling over 100 homes a year until 2015 when I became the team leader in Coral Springs. So there's a little bit of background for those of you who are new to the call. All right, 14-point listing presentation. Step number 1, phone interview. I'm going to call the day before the appointment in order to ask questions to better prepare for the appointment. And if you want a list of those questions, just drop your email in the chat and I'll be more than glad to send those to you. Step number 2, I'm going to prepare a CMA. I'm going to pull all of the properties that have sold in your neighborhood in the last 6 months. Now I'm pulling everything, whether it's comparable or not. I'm also going to go to the tax records because I want to find anything that sold for sale by owner that isn't in the MLS. So I've got everything. I'm leaving no stone unturned, and I'm not going to go on a listing appointment and have a seller say, what about a property around the corner? And I don't have that information. That makes me unprepared. All right, I'm also going to do a supply and demand analysis in order to determine what's the right pond to go fishing in. In other words, if you were on James' calls this morning, you saw where I said that every $50,000 mark increment is a different market. So for example, 450 to 500,000 and 500 to 550 are two very different markets. You have different competition, and we need to determine what's the right market in order to get your goals accomplished. Script. In other words, we need to determine which one of those is the right pond to go fishing in. Okay, so that's a supply and demand analysis. Step number 3, confirm the appointment. I'm going to call the day of the appointment. Hey, Eddie, John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty, calling to confirm our appointment for later today at 4 o'clock. Eddie says, awesome, we're on. Cool. Hey, by the way, Eddie, when I come out today at 4 o'clock, just out of curiosity, are you going to be ready to put your home on the market? Trial close. Eddie says, yes. My response is, awesome. See you at 4 o'clock. Eddie says, no, or I don't know. And my response is, awesome. See you at 4 o'clock. I'm simply checking. And now I know, and I'm better prepared for each one. In other words, if he says, yes, I'm going to get the listing. If he says no, then I've got some work to do and I'm still going to get the listing. All right, step number 4, get on the listing channel. It's all about your mindset. So leave early so that you arrive early. Make sure that you're not listening to the radio. Don't listen to talk radio ever, not a good idea. Don't answer your phone. If somebody calls you and they have complaints or something, it's not a positive call. That's not gonna help your mindset. So get on the listing channel is all about mindset. Repeat your affirmations and visualize. Visualize the entire process from you showing up at the front door, touring their home, sitting at the kitchen table, delivering a masterful listing presentation, closing with ease, and walking out of the house with keys in your hand and a listing agreement signed. All right. Step number 5, Kodak Moment. That is your first impression at the front door. I knock on Louise's front door. Louise answers the door. My response is, hi, Louise, John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty. We had an appointment at 4 o'clock and it's 4 o'clock. May I come in? Now, the moment I walk in the front door, wow, you have an absolutely beautiful home. I am so excited to be here. Now, if they don't have a beautiful home, just wow, I'm so excited to be here and have this opportunity to help you sell your home. Before I go any further, would you like me to take my shoes off? Little things matter. Be professional, be courteous, be nice. By the way, Kodak Moment, dress professional and pay attention to the details. All right, step number 6, tour the home. So Eddie, I'm excited to be here, and I would like to set my things down at the kitchen table, and then I would love it if you could take me on a tour of your home. Now, as we tour, I'm going to ask lots of questions, and I'm going to take a lot of notes as well. And this is the information that I'm going to use to help you sell your home. Now, step number 7, begin the conversation. We're back to the kitchen table. Alex, thank you for meeting with me today. It is always a privilege and an honor to discuss the possibility of the Dietz team representing someone in the sale of their home. I'd like to start by sharing my mission statement with you. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Alex says, yes. Cool. My mission whenever I meet with a seller or a buyer, guys, is to meet their goals and exceed their expectations. Now, because of that mission, whenever I meet with a potential seller, one of 3 things typically happens. One of those 3 things is going to happen today. Either number 1, they understand and appreciate the benefits that I have to offer, and they hire me, which is awesome. And the second thing that sometimes happens is they don't hire me, and that's not so awesome. And the third thing that occasionally happens is I may choose not to represent them in the sale of their home. And just in case you're curious, why would I choose not to take someone's listing? If I feel they have a goal or an expectation that I cannot meet or exceed, I would rather turn the opportunity down today, Eddie, than let you down 6 months from now. Is that fair?
Fair.
Cool. So in order for me to know, I'm transitioning to step number 8, which is a needs analysis. In order for me to know if I can meet your goals and exceed your expectations, I need to ask you a couple of questions. Would that be okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not so great and 10 being awesome, what needs to happen in the sale of your home for you to consider this experience a 10? Now, Eddie says, quick sale. Cool. I'm going to take notes, guys, and I'm writing down exactly what he says in his words. Quick sale. That's easy because that's only 2 words, so it doesn't take me a long time to write that down. Now, Eddie, I know what quick looks like to me. What does it look like to you? I'm digging deep. The process is called going 3 deep. So what does a quick sale look like to you? Eddie says, I need a contract in 30 days. Cool. I'm writing that down. Eddie, tell me, why is that important? What does getting a contract in 30 days do for you? Eddie says, I'm moving to Atlanta and I'm starting a new job in 60 days. And I'm moving whether my home is sold or not. And I really need it sold before I go. Now, I'm going to keep going until I get at least 3 goals. And then I'm going to transition to the next step, which is 9, prioritize their needs, which is, if we can nail one of these goals and barely miss the other 2, Michael, what's your number 1 goal? Now, this is where you're going to slow down, guys, because they're going to probably tell you price, and price may not be the right goal. So if Michael says, well, I need to get my price, by the way, digging deep on that is, what does that look like? I need 600. Awesome. What would getting $600,000 do for you? Why is that important? Now, if Michael says price, I'm going to slow down right here and I'm going to say, okay, Michael, so if we got as close to $600,000 as possible and your home took longer than 30 days to sell, let's say it took 60 days, and you have to move to Atlanta without your home being sold, is that still a 10? Now, more than likely, he's going to change his mind and say, no, it wouldn't. I have to have a contract in 30 days. So what I'm hearing is getting a contract in 30 days is actually more important than getting $600,000. And Michael's going to go, yes. And what we're doing is we're helping them self-discover what their goals are, because prior to this, they don't even know. And Tom Hopkins calls it changing their base. So now when it comes to the decision time, Michael's going to base a decision on who's going to give him the best opportunity to have his home sold in 30 days versus who's going to give him the highest price, because any real estate agent could come in and offer more money. Any real estate agent could come in and tell Michael anything he wants to hear just to get a sign in his front yard, and Michael's still in his house 90 days from now. right? Now,
Yep.
I'm going to skip to the end. My greatest fear for you, Michael, is not that you're going to get less money for your home than you want. My greatest fear for you is that you're still going to be here 6 months from now, and your home might be worth less. Interest rates might go up, which makes your home less affordable. Those are harm's way questions because we're more motivated by avoiding pain than we are by going towards pleasure. All right, once we've prioritized their goals, guys, I'm going through this at lightning speed. For those of you who are new to the call, we've been talking about the 14-point listing presentation for the last 2 weeks. It's all on my YouTube page. If you want to go back and watch every single video, they're all there. Now, trial close. Paul, if I could demonstrate that I'm the right agent for the job, embedded command, guys. If I can demonstrate that I'm the right agent for the job in order to get these goals accomplished, are you ready to hire me today? Paul says, yes. Awesome. Let's get started. Paul says, I don't know. Awesome. Let's get started. Now, we're going to transition to the next step, which is satisfy their needs and expectations. Now, this is where you're going to discuss your marketing plan. This is where you're going to share your unique value proposition. This is where you're going to set yourself apart from everyone else and demonstrate how you're going to get their goals accomplished. This is where you demonstrate that you care about them, that they can trust you, and that you know what you're doing. The next step is review the CMA. And I'm just going to I brought every single comparable sale, and all we're going to do is look at one after another, and we're going to review them in detail, and we're going to identify which properties are good comparables and which ones are not. And all I'm looking for is 3 properties that have sold in the last 6 months that justify the highest price for your home. And I'm looking from a high to a low. In other words, 580 to 620. Cool. Now, the next step is to review a supply and demand analysis. In other words, if my price range is 580 to 620, I need to know what the market looks like from 550 to 600. And then I also need to know what the market looks like from 6 to 650. And you and I need to determine which one of those markets is the right market in order to get your goals accomplished. Now, once we've looked at all the comparables, once we've looked at supply and demand, I'm simply going to say, Bill, based on the information that we've looked at today, where do you think we need to be priced in order to get your home under contract in the next 30 days so that you can move to Atlanta, start your new job, and be with your family? Logic and emotion, guys. Listen to what I'm saying. Where do we need to be? In other words, where should we price your home? In order to get your home under contract in the next 30 days so that you can move to Atlanta and be with your family and start your new job. And if Bill says 620 and I know the right market is 590 to 600, we're going to have a conversation. We might be at the table for quite a while because pricing Bill's home is critically important here. And I've sat at kitchen tables for 30 minutes, an hour, over $5,000. Because a $5,000 difference in pricing, depending on the market, could make the difference between having his home sold in 30 days and not selling. Everybody good so far?
Yes.
Cool. So Bill and I agree on a price. And Bill says, okay, John, I get it. We need to be between 590 and 600. So 590 is where I need to be. Cool. I agree, Bill. That's the right price. Now, are you ready to get started? That's a close, guys. And a close is nothing more than a close is nothing more than the natural conclusion to an effective presentation. I've got numerous closes, and that's the one I use most of the time. So Naja, hi, great to see you. Barry, Michael, Michael's a great role play partner. Michael, so are you ready to get started?
Not sure yet, John. I have to think about it.
Okay. So just out of curiosity, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you don't like anything I said, and 10, I'm the right agent for the job in order to get your goals accomplished. Where am I at?
You're about an 8 or a 9, John.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. So just curious, what would it take for me to be a 10 today?
Not really sure about the price. I'd really want to get 625 instead of 600, John.
Cool. So if I were willing to list your home at 625 today, would you hire me today?
I think so.
Yes or no?
Yes,
Cool. So Michael, can I share with you why that concerns me?
absolutely.
Yeah, you see, Michael, if we price your home above the market, it's kind of like going fishing with our bait out of the water. You see, if you were to hire me to take you fishing, and I've got a charter boat fishing company. I don't even know what to call it. And I've got the best boat money can buy. I've got the right fishing equipment. I even know where the fish are. And we go right to that spot and we hang our bait 3 feet above water. How many fish are we gonna catch?
Probably none.
Yeah. And you see, Michael, you're gonna talk to a real estate agent who's gonna tell you, because they're so awesome and they have great marketing, they can get more money for your home. And the challenge is the market is the market. I don't determine the market, and neither do you. Buyers do. And if we're in the wrong market, 620, we're competing with the wrong buyers, or the wrong sellers, sorry. We're competing against the wrong sellers because we're competing against other homes that are sold from 600 to 650. And I showed you earlier, there's 24 homes for sale between 600 and 650. And 6 are selling every 30 days, which means we have a 4-month supply of inventory, which is cool. It's a seller's market, or at least it's a stable market. And in order to get your home sold, you'd have to be one of the top 6. And my concern is, are you going to be one of the top 6? If you were a buyer and you were looking at the 24 homes that are being sold, would you choose your home as one of the top 6 properties?
Yeah, I guess it would determine, it would depend on what else is on the market.
Yeah. And we could always lower the price, right? Guys, sellers have scripts too. They go to script school. The good news is they don't have very many scripts. You have more. And one of the scripts they're going to use is we could always lower the price. The other script that they like is somebody could always make an offer. So Michael, just out of curiosity, let's say we did list your home for 620 and I had an offer in the first 30 days for 595. What would you do?
It's close. I'd consider it.
What if 595 got you to Atlanta in 30 days with your family, and 620, you're still in your home 90 days from now?
Yeah, then at that point we would sell.
So if we had an offer for 595, what would you do?
Based on the scenario that you said, John, we would sell.
Cool. So where should we price your home?
600.
I can live with 600. If I agree to $600,000, are you ready to hire me today?
John, let's get it on the market so I can get to Atlanta.
Okay, awesome job, Michael. All right, guys, take yourself off mute. Talk to me. Just give me objections. And if it's a long conversation, I'll tell you a quick answer. We're not going to be able to handle it. And I'll handle as many as I can. So take yourself off mute and talk to me.
John, let's go back to that conversation because I have a thought. What if the supply and demand analysis shares similar information from, that 450 to 500, from 500 to 550?
Yeah, so they're both. So somebody's causing feedback. Michael, I'm just going to mute everybody and we'll pick it up. Give me a moment. All right, I can't figure out how to do it now. Don't hear the feedback anymore. Michael, so both markets are 4 months of inventory. 450 to 5 and 5 to 550. They both have 24 homes for sale, and there's 6 homes selling every 30 days. In the question now, or the conversation now, is which market gives you an opportunity to be the shining star? If the markets are equal, in other words, they're both 4 months supply of inventory, the conversation is not about, do you want to be in a market where there's 4 months of inventory or a market where there's 30 days of inventory? The conversation is, which one of these two markets gives you an opportunity to be the shining star? Because where you price your home will also determine who your competition is.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have a better chance of being the shining star between 6 and 650 or between 550 and 6? The script that I've used for many, many years is, do you want to be the bride or the bridesmaid? And 550 to 6, you're the bride. 6 to 650, bridesmaid. Somebody earlier asked about the length of listing conversation and what we talked about yesterday. And the answer to that, when somebody doesn't want to sign a 6-month listing agreement, is no worries. My listing agreement is 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
Can I explain? You see, Natalie, my listing agreement is 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can cancel anytime with no fee and no stipulations. So I don't even lock you in for 30 days. It's day to day. So I don't have a 6-month listing agreement. It is on paper, but you can cancel anytime. By the way, every time you overcome an objection, close again. So as soon as I say, Natalie, you can cancel anytime, you're not locked in for any period of time. So it's not a 6-month listing agreement. Are you ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. People will never change their mind. What they will do is make a new decision based on new information.
Mm-hmm.
Provide new information.
John, a question for you. What are your thoughts on going with a teammate to a listing presentation?
I'm good with that. It's just important that you have an understanding before you go what your strategy is, who's going to lead the conversation, if you're both going to talk, who's covering what part, so that you don't go and compete against one another in a conversation with the sellers. The answer to does the recording end up on my YouTube channel? Yes, it does. Okay, next question, guys, or give me an objection.
Good morning, it's Jack Smith, Keller Williams Luxury again. Question
Yes.
to you is, we just went on a listing appointment the other day, and she had a niece that lives in Bradenton, and I said, well, she's not local. She said, well, she can still list it in the MLS, and I said, well, does she know the market in this area? Well, she's done some studying. All we did was get objection, objection, objection. Now, that rarely happens to us because we we pre-qual them before we go out. How do you deal with somebody that knows more than you do and they're not in the business?
Keep asking questions and offer to pay the niece a referral fee.
We did that. We did all that. Yep. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Nothing else.
And the questions that I'm going to ask are harm's way questions. So my concern for you is if you hire the wrong agent, and nothing against your niece, I'm sure she's amazing, but I know that I wouldn't list a home in Bradenton because I don't know the market. And my concern for you, if you hire the wrong agent, is you might still be here 90 days from now versus being in Atlanta in order to start your job.
That was the real key. They have no motivation to move because they have another house in Fort Pierce or Fort something down below, Walton.
Yeah, and Jack, one of the other things that I would tell you is if they don't want to sell their home, neither do I. I'm not attached to the outcome. Honestly, when I go on a listing appointment, I'm 100% not attached. My inner conversation, because this is going to sound a little bit, it's going to sound like bragging, and it's not. My conversation to myself is I'm listing 10 homes every single month. So whether or not you hire me or not really doesn't matter to me.
Mhm.
If you don't hire me, somebody will, and I'm going to list 10 homes every single month. And as a matter of fact, you need to list your home with me more than I need to list your home. Now, guys, those are not scripts. Don't go to somebody's house and say that. That's the conversation you're having with yourself inside your own head. But I'm going to tell you, you want magic? Be unattached. The more unattached you are, the more powerful you are. When you are attached, you're coming across as someone who's motivated to get a commission check. You're speaking with commission breath, and they can tell it. If
Order
you're
taker.
not, if 100%, if you're not attached, if you are truly there to serve, if you are there to demonstrate that you care about them, that they can trust you, you're going to get more listings. When I say one of three things typically happen on whenever I meet with a potential seller, and one of those is I may choose to turn down the listing, I mean it. If they have a goal that I can't meet, my conversation, the script there is, you know, Liz, earlier we talked about there's three things that typically happen on a listing appointment. And one of those was I may choose to turn down the opportunity. And I think based on the goals you shared with me today, this is one of those times. So I'm turning down the opportunity. Now, I've said that at the kitchen table, and I've had sellers try to talk me out of it. No, don't go. We want to hire you. And which is cool if they're willing to do what they need to do to get their home sold. If they still insist on you taking the listing at a price it's not going to sell, for example, no.
Agree.
Hey, John, at that point,
Thank you.
Yeah.
at that point, do you tell them to call you in 90 or 6 months when they fire the other agent?
Well, I wouldn't exactly use those words. Frank, sorry, Frank. But what I would say is, listen, my door is always open if you change your mind, right? What I would also say to a seller who says, well, so-and-so is going to list my property at a higher price, so I'm hiring them. I would say, cool, just do me one favor. Actually do yourself a favor. Have that listing agent who's so confident that your home's going to sell for a higher price, have them write in your listing agreement that the first time they ask for a price reduction, you get to cancel the listing.
I do that too.
Yeah?
Yep.
Good job, Eddie.
John,
Yes.
somebody posted in the chat, the market is hot. I don't need an agent. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, can you tell me, so tell me what a great buyer looks like. Role play with me, somebody. Go, yeah.
Somebody who has the money to buy
Yeah,
and can close and is easy. He's not going to ask for a lot of stuff.
I agree. That's a great buyer, Liz. Can I share with you what a great buyer looks like to me?
Yes.
Cool. A great buyer is someone who sold their home yesterday and they need to buy a home in order to move in 30 days. Or a great buyer is someone who's in town for the weekend to buy a house. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Now, if you were that buyer, are you out driving around looking at for sale by owners, or are you working with a realtor?
I would be working with a realtor because they
Yeah.
know they know the areas and can take me around.
Yeah, I agree. And if you're the real estate agent who's working with that buyer, are you showing them homes that are being sold by owner, or are you showing them homes that are listed by a professional like me?
I would show them homes listed by a professional.
Yeah. So Liz, if you're not attracting one of those buyers, who are you attracting?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Everyone
You
You might
else?
be, you might be attracting to the buyers who are rejected by brokers.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
You're
So,
attracting realtors.
so Liz and the guys, it's 9:05 and I have a huddle at 9:10. So we're going to go right to 9:10 because I want to give you as much as I can give you here. Liz, the other conversation is a watch script. And that conversation is, Liz, let's say that you and I decided to buy a watch and we had a budget of $500 and we go to Nordstrom's, my favorite store, and we find this watch and it's $500. We buy it.
Huh?
Now we go home and we decide we don't like the watch anymore and we can't return it. And we're having a garage sale tomorrow. So we're going to sell the watch in our garage sale. Are we going to get $500 for it?
No,
No. No.
no. We'll
Yeah. No. See,
No,
when
we're
we
not.
went to Nordstrom's, we went expecting to pay retail. We bought from a professional in a professional environment. When someone comes to your garage sale, they're looking for a
Bargain,
bargain, and they're buying from the
owner.
Directly.
Okay.
By the way, is a script. Okay. Right? Right? And then the response to that is, are you ready to get started?
Okay.
I can't wait to use that script. I'm looking.
I know.
Right. Yeah. By the way, it works everywhere.
Mhm.
So yeah, ask your husband to take you to the nicest restaurant in town when he says it's not in our budget. I promise you, and Monica's sitting in earshot, right? She can hear everything I'm saying. I promise you it would work with me. I'd be like, yeah, never mind, let's go.
Got outscripted, John.
Oh, I get outscripted by Monica and Lacey all the time. Are you kidding me? Yeah. When Lacey was little, she would ask me a question that all of you parents get. And it would, and like, Dad, can we go get ice cream? And I would say, I don't know, let me think about it. Right? And Lacey caught on really quick. And when I would say, let me think about it, she'd look at me with those big puppy eyes and she'd say, how about you say yes?
Let's get started.
Let's get started. Right? We will never change our mind, but what we will do is make a new decision based on new information. Okay, guys, it's 9:07. I've got to run. So 20 contacts. Not 19, not 18, not 17. If you bake a cake with 98% of the ingredients, it's not going to turn out very well. The recipe for success is 20 conversations every single day. The purpose of the conversation is to get an appointment, get a referral, or add somebody to your database, period, the end. If I talk to a for sale by owner, or if I talk to an expired listing, my goal is to get an appointment, not to pre-qualify them. I am going to get face-to-face with every possible seller that I can. My goal every day is to get face-to-face with at least one person who's thinking of selling their home. And then I am going to follow up forever. I don't hear no. I reject rejection. No is not a word that lives in my vocabulary. I'm never going to hire you. Awesome. Talk to you next week. I'm only paying 2%. Awesome. Talk to you next week. I am creating emotional proximity because eventually they're going to get ready. Eventually they're going to get serious. And when they do, they're going to hire me. So 20 conversations focused on an appointment, adding somebody to your database, getting a referral, get face-to-face with at least one person every single day who's thinking of buying or selling a home, and then follow up forever in order to create emotional proximity. Write 5 handwritten personal notes today, put them in the mail, and make it a great day.
Thanks, John.
Hi,
Thank you, John.
My pleasure,
John, we had
guys.
94 people today.
Thanks, John.
Bye-bye.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you, John.